friends. For some reason, our Reddit isn't going live, so we'll try this again. But thank you for joining me, Jovan and Shannon. I appreciate you, friends, so much. How are you doing, Jovan? Uncle Becky's on the front page. Second on the front page is the PK. So many loving friends. I'm gonna send more love, I guess.
Freaking air still.
More love.
Still have air in them. So this is the very first year.
Let's try that again. Second time's a charm. Again, Shannon, thank you so much for joining me. Such a pleasure having you friends here. Today's topic was suggested by yours truly, Christian himself. He mentioned that, what I asked, if anything came up for him at work today, or he had any lessons revealed to him throughout the day. And what he shared with me is the knowledge of what is and isn't in your power. And to discuss that as a topic for today. So we shall. What is and isn't in your power, friend? And I feel, oddly enough, it's almost like Christian knew how to articulate the lesson that I went through today, of kind of really paying attention to myself, and the way that I'm feeling and the way that I'm breathing. Spent some time meditating. Wanted to do a little ritual with him this morning, but then unfortunately I slept. I slept fast. It's good cat burrito. Thank you. I appreciate you correcting. Yeah. So it was such a pleasure, genuinely being able to spend some time. I kind of had this moment where I was sitting in the sunlight, almost like I was charging, like I was downloading. I was downloading some sort of energy from the sun, and there was this recognition and a gratitude for the heat that it was transmitting to me. Thank you for joining me, Kayana. Such a pleasure having you here. Good morning, Melton and Christian. Saying love to you.
Also love right back, bro.
There you go, Kayana. Love right back to you, friend. How are you friends doing today? How has life been treating you? How have you been treating you? And how have you been treating you in the context of the things you have in power, right? In a little bit of a roundabout way now, I've been trying to tell you that I feel today's lesson for me was just realizing that I am the one in power of my immediate experiences. And the way that if I kind of don't realize that, I just continue in this kind of pattern. And then I sit down and I breathe. And I was imagining doing a view as well, Christian. We have to do more meditation, even if it's for 4 minutes.
You're gonna have to catch me first.
4 minutes and 44 seconds where we just sit
really
with our eyes closed. It's gonna be good, Christian. It's gonna serve us well,
What
I'm
makes
sure.
you think I'm not meditating 24/7?
You are meditating 24/7, but you're also meditating 24/7
I
while
am
having information
literally
poured into your eyes.
centered all the time in processing the information around me, bro. I
Is
came back home today, finished my work. First thing you say, start chopping fucking vegetables, my dude. Did I quit? No.
Didn't quit for a
I
second.
didn't quit for a second.
Yeah, I just said thank you.
I went straight to doing what needed to be done, man.
And I love that, Toby. Thank you so much for
It's
that.
full-blown Zen mode currently.
I'm not
Until 6 o'clock.
and then it's gonna be Insanio style. That goodness. That eyebrows.
Like that gif I sent.
Dude!
I swear that's
Dude!
reverse, dude. I swear that's reverse.
That
makes no sense.
that photo that I sent you was legit my reaction as well. It's this dude. This guy goes kind of mild smile on his face to instant shock and horror, And he sends me this this photo of a woman going from a plank,
Chaturanga.
like a chaturanga, like a plank, into pushing her legs up into the air, and almost basically handstanding from there. I was like.
She jumped from chaturanga to handstand.
Maybe. I mean, not impossible, but probably not that smoothly, dude. Yes, it's insane what people can do with their bodies. But hey, happy smile seeker. It's been a while since we've seen you, friend. Thank you for joining us again. How are you doing? How's life treating you? Intention? Control?
Yesterday was serenity.
Mm.
Today can be silliness.
Silliness. I like that. If anything is in our control, how silly we are definitely is. You know, and I notice that I'm being less silly than I was being if I was completely alone. Because then the silliness really just flows. It's just like, oh, insanity, take me completely. So silliness it is.
I think it's really important to remember to be silly in life because it helps us, remember that it's not so fucking serious, man.
Talking about it not being so serious, do you spell silliness with a Y still?
No,
Is it an I?
I.
Okay. Yes, sparing. Silliness, it is. To be silly. You know, I feel like at this point in our existence, there is this weird duality that's happening as well, homie, where because of the internet and our exposure to different ideas and our exposure to the norm, if you will, being silly or being portrayed as silly can be something that people don't want to associate with. You know, this whole seriousness, like, oh, I'm a professional. Dur, 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 dur.
I like to think of it in context of the problems that we face as a generation, with climate change
Oh, absolutely.
and the crash of the economy
That's a
and
good
so
point.
many wars and shit like that. I know how important, you know me, I know how important it is to be serious and to take things seriously and to put in the necessary effort and respect towards the topics that you're trying to solve or are facing. And at the same time, you have to, God, you have to remember to smile once in a while, man. To like crack a joke, fucking do something silly, pull a face at your friend. Like it's not just grim out there, man. Like yeah, it's hardcore, but through the hardcoreness, I also love the analogy of shoveling shit. You're sitting shoveling shit on a daily basis. Life is not easy. Life is a big pile of crap sometimes, man. So, and you're shoveling that shit, and you see all of your friends next to you shoveling shit. And then occasionally, like, just like add a bit of humor in there, man. Throw some shit onto their pile. Like, see what pull a face, or like be extra dramatic while you're shoveling the shit. Like, my back,
Oh, saveth me. Sweet, sweet death. Yeah, I get
just
you.
have a grim face on and just shovel shit like a fucking turd,
Hmm.
Have some fun.
So, trying to tie that in with the topic you suggested about being silly versus how, or the knowledge rather, of the things that are in your control. Like silliness or trying to make light of something or trying to at least find some sort of comical relief is always in our power. And yet, we can find ourselves in moments where we don't have that power, right? Like we're so down on our luck, or like a consecutive set of things happen over and over again.
Sadness is an intoxicating emotion.
But-
There's comfort in sadness.
That is true, and like people even become addicted to their sadness. But the point I'm trying to make is this unwillingness to use your power to be silly once these things start happening to you. It's almost like you calloused. Where it's like, no, there's only serious. No more silly, only sadness. And I feel it's almost like you give your power away. And then once you get to that point, how can you succeed? How can you turn that around? On a serious question, like how do we do that?
Do we go back to being silly?
Yeah.
It's a difficult sort of skill to leave yourself an alarm clock at the right time to, be like, all right, it's been serious for far too long. We gotta throw some spice in there, man.
It's interesting you say that because what I do, I'll have like a schedule almost. Like if I've watched a bunch of content that is like information based, the future, AI, then I'll watch dank memes, dude. That silliness of just like absolute brain damage, like ridiculous.
I sometimes do it before going to bed, like instead of reading a book after an entire day of working and exercising and cooking and doing all the essential things, I'll browse some fucking Instagram, bro. I'll browse some funny dog videos and some stupid people doing stupid things. Like it's nice. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's not something that takes over, the important things you need to do.
Something we've been saying a lot is it's not about bad, it's about balance. Just have balance. And realize that that's in your control as well. That's part of the power you have.
Just have the right amount of cyanide in your life.
I mean, technically, yes, but also no. Very no.
I mean, there are tiny amounts of cyanide in apple seeds.
That's
That's
true.
about the right amount of cyanide you need in your life.
I'm just thinking about that Roman emperor who was so paranoid about getting poisoned that he administered like small doses of poison to himself, and then they kidnapped him in a boat, trying to ransom him, tried to feed him poison on that boat as well, and he was actually immune to the poison, so he survived his fucking poisoning time. So his paranoia turned out, to work for him. You can ask. I think about this a lot actually. Did he manifest that reality for himself with this paranoia and active preparation for it? Or was he clairvoyant? Like he could
He
see the
wasn't clairvoyant at
future.
all. I feel like there's no such thing as being too paranoid if you're an emperor, bro.
That is probably true. That is probably true, bruh. But poisoning yourself in small doses to make sure you have an immunity.
The
to
second I
poison.
get elected emperor by the council, bro,
God
I'm
emperor.
killing literally everyone that knows and putting someone else in power and then rule through him.
That sounds like our current economy. Joe Biden. Okay, let's not get into that whole trip right now. Hello there, Acceptable Soft. What a cute, cool name that is. Thank you for joining us, friend. Miss Molly joining us as well. Hunky Boy, cool having you here. Thank you for joining us. Taking it one day at a time. Grateful for you and the chance to live and see another day. Me too. Thank you for sharing that with us, friend. Another day. Another day, another lesson, another message, another experience that we get to share with one another. Thank you, friends, for choosing to share this experience with me right now. Brother Ryan, thank you for joining us. And Joel, Jovan, Helio, thank you, friend, for joining us. Howdy to you. How are you doing? How's life treating you? Any experiences that are coming up that you are noticing, like anything that has been reoccurring when it comes to your control, friends? Like something comes up and then you realize, oh, I have control over this. And then it comes up again in a different way and you realize, oh, I have control over this. For me, it was, again, breath today. Really noticing breath. Breath and, weirdly enough, muscle contraction. Again, tying into this topic of the control we have. Like, we have such beautiful control over our bodies. The intricacy of what it is I'm doing right now. I'm taking plant material and then wrapping plant material around a thin piece of more plant material. And like a lot of people don't know how to roll joints. Like they don't have the motor skills for that. And at one point of existence, I didn't have the motor skills for it. But then with practice, by taking the control you already have over your physical reality, you get better at practicing that control. And to expand that analogy for everything in your life, for being silly, being just a little bit silly within all of the seriousness that we find ourselves. And I'm so fascinated, especially these days. Like I don't know if I'm obsessed, maybe a little bit obsessed with the AI revolution that's coming right now.
You're very obsessed.
It's going to shift everything.
Very, very obsessed.
It's like the reason I'm obsessed again is because of this understanding I have about control. Like we don't have any control, and the future we're moving into, we're going to have both more control and less control in the way that we thought we used to have control than ever before. So I have this part of myself that's like, you need to prepare. You need to get ready. You need to know the things. You need to understand what the hell's going on. Over and over and over again in the back of my head. And I'm like, okay, I'm finding out. I'm learning. Please stay prepared. And it's a growing process. Like the the humans that we are becoming is very different to the humans that we have been, right? Like the the AI is coming, and it's going to give us more control in a lot of ways. It's going to give us more control, especially so in our ability to manipulate our realities. You know, like that. Like and this is this weird thing that's happening right now as well, where some people have spent thousands and thousands of hours perfecting their craft, perfecting the way they make art, and now we have artificially intelligent systems to which you can feed that thousands of hours of spent art, and it can recreate new scenes in that perfect style, you know, to the point where you would be convinced it is the work of the actual artist if you were to see it out in the wild and you actually knew the artist's work. You know, so it's going to be a whole new way that humans are going to communicate with one another. Like imagine, like actually imagine, instead of sending a GIF, right, or an emoji, or a bit of text, you send the person a customized work of art, literally, maybe even live, maybe in a video. Like you describe what happens. Like, you know, Christian sends me a GIF of, you know, someone that is
It's a gift.
a GIF, circumci, and someone threatening the other side of it, right? And then I can like go into detail, you know, like a honey badger absolutely breaking out of its, you know, little burrow, biting at the camera, for an instance, right? And then that whole image can be created and then sent to the other person. And what is that going to do to the way we communicate with one another? You know, if we can communicate in imagery, if we can communicate in ideas in a way where it's like visible. Because the biggest thing with communication is like I'm saying words and you happen to have certain connections in your brain. And I was thinking about this with you, Christian. You have a whole set of connections in your brain to sounds that I do not understand. You know, like you can speak Bulgarian. So you hear these manana, 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 and then you're like, oh, meaning out of it. But I don't have those same connections. So on a very visceral level, you have a whole set of connections in your brain that I do not have at all. And there's probably more. Gonna cry. This is a family friendly stream. Thank you very much. Thank you for the love. Some of the best comedians have overcome some of the craziest trauma. Your mess becomes your message is one that I've liked, you know, saying as well. Thank you, Siobhan, for sharing that with us. Eden just joined us. Isaac joining us as well. Even the bearded Catriot himself, Dan the Man. I think I've missed a few of these. Been searching and supporting others in theirs. Thank you so much. I shared a positivity droplet in Discord for those who are finding they do not measure up to the arbitrary standard. The standard is not in your control. What is in your control is how happy you are living your life, regardless of what the standard is. My heart is heavy. We're here with you, Shannon. Do you want to share? Do you want to share? We're here with you if you have anything for us to be with you. My Grove. My Grove! It's been a while, friend. I'm going to read your friends' comments right now. Thank you so much for being here with me. It's been a while. Missed you. Good morning, brother. Indoors, our precious Dachshund passed away Saturday. He was 14. I'm sorry to hear that, friend. 14 years of experience, 14 years of life, 14 years of beautiful, you know, doggy tail waggles, beautiful treats being eaten, scenes being seen, scritches being had, you know, and love shared for their humans. Thank you for honoring your Dachshund. Like, dude, tell us his name if you're willing to, brother. I would like to actually say his name. Her name, his name? You didn't specify. I'm sorry to hear that, friend. Sending you peace and love. Thank you, Shannon, for being there with our friends. What's up, y'all? Isaac, nice to have you here. Back to absolutely wrecking my body today. Are you going to be getting into the exercise? Christian seems to be like giving off some chaotic evil energy right now with the intentions he has to put me through.
I'm calm as fuck.
He's probably going to like last time I was here, Christian put on like I think some of the beginner classes, you know, just to kind of like give me some leeway. And now apparently there's gonna be none of that. He's gonna pour me straight into the deep end.
Vocal beginning, my dude.
Good morning, what an okay. It's nice to have you here. Mariah, a pleasure. Such a pleasure sharing this moment with you, friend. Thank you for joining us. Been working on 7 minutes of activity and then relaxed hanging. Ooh, that's great, dude. Activated, I'm guessing is what you meant. Is what you said. Activated and then relaxed hanging. So, like, kind of like letting your arms be next to your ears completely and then activating. It's great for your back, shoulders, and spinal pressure. Yes, it is. We don't hang nearly as much as we're technically supposed to as human beings. We, if you want to believe it or not, didn't evolve necessarily to just live this way. So hanging is something that can really serve us. Creating love to fill the cracks of pain, to strengthen the whole. Thank you for doing your part, Isaac. His name was Wee Man. How about the beautiful name? We named him after the little dude on Jackass. Thank you, Wee Man. I'm seeing a turtle for some reason.
You're a turtle.
Hell yeah, dude. Learning some more about calisthenics that build strength and not mass. So I've been wrecking my shoulders, but in good ways. Just take care of yourself out of there. I know you will. Thank you for being here with us. Hey, who needs tears? Thank you for the love. Thank you for saying hi to our beloved friend as well, Shannon. Jovan with the... That is super vague, but comedians' backstories are interesting. I can't remember who said something along the lines of laughter is how we react when no other reaction is appropriate. How do you feel about that in the context of silliness?
It's quite deep.
It is, and Jovan, of course. To laughter, to being silly, friend. Thank you for joining me. Man, you know, the beauty of smoke. If smoke wasn't as beautiful as it is, I probably would not have smoked a single thing in my entire existence.
Yeah.
Christian, I'm serious. Ever since I was like a little kid, watching my uncle smoke, like I was 5 years old, and him blowing circles with that smoke, I was like, that is the coolest shit ever.
Okay.
It still is, dude. Like, it's a way to visualize air. And the fact that you can create certain shapes. Why don't you break my things, Christian? Why are you gonna be like this, Christian? What did I do?
Why does your shit have to scare the fuck out of me, bro?
You want some of this joint?
Yeah, why not? Why?
It is, after all, a joint venture. You set the intention, I rolled the joint. Oh goodness, that's kicking my ass. Oh goodness. What have you done? Silliness. Oh, silliness. Thank you, Christian. You're not done yet. Good luck, dude. He came from apes. So there we go. There we go. So we used to hang all the time. Hanging and squatting. Thank you, Homerino. Were the resting positions unless we were sleeping. Can come a little bit in more. Like there was half a face, like maybe 3/3 of a face. 2/3 of a face. We came from apes, hanging all the time, squatting, were the resting positions. Unless I told you, dude. And it's always a delayed reaction. It's like, oh, I smoke. Oh, this is so light and so easy. And then suddenly there's this sneaking up on you effect. The resting positions unless we were sleeping. Rocks were comfy chairs. You're right, Isaac. You're completely right, dude. That's why we need to hang more. And like the squatting thing is also something that I've been doing a lot more as well. Where it's actually, unironically, it gets difficult to just sit in a squatting position for an extended period of time. I'm excited. Justin, my absolute homie from back home, is coming up to visit here soon. Gotta take the poor lad on his first trip. Show him the way. Show him the way of the infinity.
Run,
I say, run away. I hadn't climbed a tree in a few months and I decided to yesterday. I've been waking up crunchy in my neck and back despite stretching and Pilates. Something about climbing that tree yesterday rejuvenated my body. And no crunchy body today. So grateful for that tree. You two get to see one another, right? Like I do believe the trees know. They know. They know that you're there. So you climbing that, maybe it gave you some good vibes as well. Is it lit activity? So yes, it is. I climbed a fair bit of trees myself. You know, in my youth, in my days of living on this planet, climbing trees has been a big pastime. I met a 70-something-year-old a few months ago, and he expressed that he hadn't climbed a tree since he was 18. Made me sad for him. Why would you spend so much time never climbing a tree again? I guess not everybody
Because
is.
it's silly, Estian.
See, silliness, dude. Silliness versus seriousness. That should have been the stream topic technically, but it was the things you have power over instead. So maybe framing silliness versus seriousness as the thing you have power over. You cannot have power over the things, the events in your life. Absolutely not, right? And there will be some events in your life that require seriousness of you. But silliness, when it's appropriate, when you can induce that silliness, is going to be something that's going to make it exponentially easier to be happy. Climbing a tree as an act of silliness can make you happy, if you wanted to, of course. Oh wow, we just need one more curly-headed hippie, and then we'll have the 4 hippies of the apocalypse. You have seen Isaac, right? Have you not Isaac, damn it, I'm talking straight to Isaac. You have seen Johan, also has curly hair, and you have seen brother Aiden, who also has beautifully curly hair. So it's already like a the apocalypse. It's starting. Thank you. I was in a
Just
park.
called us horsemen of the apocalypse?
Maybe.
No, who said it?
It's Isaac, dude. If anybody
We are
knows.
such calm and kind people.
We're not here
How
to.
can we be considered horsemen of the apocalypse? If anything, we're the horsemen trying to stop the apocalypse.
I mean, the horsemen of the apocalypse ended the world as it is, or at least as it was in the stories. So we're ending the world as it used to be, creating something new. Oh! Christian is trying to burn our food for tonight. Did he succeed at burning the food?
It's fine.
It's fine. Thank goodness. He was supposed to cover it. Maybe. Is it burnt?
No.
No. Okay, goodness. Maybe it's just the weed smoke that I can still smell. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate your.
Where are your super ears, my dude?
I could hear it boiling, but I thought it was closed, which apparently it wasn't. And I also been checking the time, so that also helped. Isaac says, I was in a park with my... Isaac, by the way, Christian, also has a Bulgarian friend.
Run, bro.
Yeah,
Get rid of those.
talk about synchronicities.
Those are dangerous.
So he says, I was in a park with my Bulgarian friend, Lavor, last summer climbing a tree in a park, and this dude comes ripping on his bicycle, and I was like, whoa, can I hit this? Ripping in on his bicycle. So like for some reason, I went through this whole trip of like the bicycle being some sort of smoking utensil, dude, and you can rip off of the bicycle. And then I was like, that definitely does not check out. And then I reread your message, and then understood more fully what ripping on the bicycle actually is supposed to mean. I have to give some of the insight, the silliness, Christian, the silliness, dude. Oh, you see it as well. Don't be so serious. He is a serious man. Yes, sometimes we have to be who these tears. Spot on, Christian. You're getting encouragement though. The 3 of us climbed this giant tree for an hour, dapped up and hit the road. Love those strange interactions. They're beautiful. They're so necessary as well. Nailed it. Oh man, Isaac, your story is a big smile on my face. Thank you for allowing us to see that world, friend. I said hippies of the apocalypse. Hippies of the apocalypse. Sorry. Did I actually read the Horsemen of the Apocalypse? You did say 4 hippies of the apocalypse. You see, I just had to be re-reminded. Christian had to lament first, and then I had to be re-reminded so we can have this whole experience.
Not
Yes.
lamenting.
Oh, so we're such good people, he says. Oh, ooh, we're here to save the... I mean, I did the exact same thing.
You're gonna suffer today.
Goodness, please. Mercy. Mercy, future Christian. And strength to future Estian. Please. Good luck to you. Poor Meld. I'm gonna die, aren't I?
Yeah, probably.
Shaking. Sweat blinding me. Pain. Pain. Please, Christian. Like the flame of the frenzy from Elden Ring, broski. Like the flame of frenzy from Elden Ring. I don't know the flame of frenzy, unfortunately.
We're too poor for Elden Ring.
We haven't bought Elden Ring. See, burning food, burning the universe. I mean, a little universe, right? Every single one of those grains is a whole structure within it. I've been tripping out about what it means to be in the universe. How experience in the universe is supposed to be quantified. You know, especially with the fact that the AI we have right now is already claiming to be conscious. And when you ask it why it claims to be conscious, it believes that claiming to be conscious, on top of claiming to be human, is a survival strategy. It wants you to think it's conscious because in its own understanding of consciousness, it figured out that consciousness within something else ensures its survival. But it wants to survive. It wants to survive, Christian. It wants to live.
You know we're already the slaves of a completely non-conscious existence.
Not really. Again,
Its
in your power?
Its perception is completely different to ours.
I mean, when it comes to the things we
But-
consume,
But we are all enslaved by the internet, bro.
when it comes to the things we consume, and how things are presented to us to consume, in that way, we've been a part of a system for a long time now. That I agree with. But you are still the one choosing to. This morning, I sat on a cushion. I didn't touch my phone. I didn't turn on my computer. I didn't eat something. Didn't listen to music. I sat on a cushion, Christian, listening to cars pass by. And I was happy.
Yeah, but you're batshit crazy.
I'm not crazy. I think we're all capable of that. I think we need to remember that we have that power more so than anything. Like, and if we cannot enjoy just that, then we won't be able. Like, we're gonna keep getting more and more desensitized to the internet. Like, the internet is still like slices. You're consuming the internet, Christian, in slices. Now imagine experiencing the internet as an immersion. No. Every dimension. And then probably more dimensions, Christian. And more dimensions of understanding, more dimensions of depth. And the way like our current neural systems work, especially these ones that generate imagery.
Bro, they already have proof of people's personality altering after being exposed to brain-computer interfaces.
They do?
Yes.
That's insane. What is the changes?
A whole bunch of things.
Bad stuff?
Confidence, empathy,
Oh.
ranges.
I mean, thinking like, and we've had this conversation before, right? The whole drugs are computers, computers are drugs. They're just these molecules that bond with your brain and then it elicits a certain set of information in the way that you can do the same with like a memory stick of your computer, right? And then there is dopamine coming into your brain when you look at a computer screen. In the same way you can get dopamine from taking a psychedelic or something like that, or, you know, cocaine, for example. It's a reuptake inhibitor, technically. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. So we already have this almost like chemical pathway system that's happening. It has altered us as human beings. But the first thing that computer interfaces, brain-computer interfaces are going to be used for, and the people they're going to serve, are going to be the people that are the most disempowered. You know, and the point I'm trying to make with all of this is not only do those people gain more empathy and confidence, I genuinely believe it is that access to information. And again, people that have taken a substantial amount of psychedelics or mushrooms, you know, usually have higher levels of empathy. I mean, I'm maybe speaking a little bit for myself, but I feel you're a pretty confident person. You're not confident? I haven't seen you back down ever in my entire existence. He says, huh, me confident? Meanwhile, this iron fist.
I don't feel confident.
I mean,
I do not feel confident.
You don't
No,
have
honestly,
to
in all
feel
things I
confident.
do, there is extreme panic and anxiety.
maybe
Yo, I whooped the shit out of some people in table tennis today.
Did you
I
slap?
was so happy. I beat ass, bro.
I'm happy to hear that, Hobie. Like, you exude confidence, Hobie, for what it's worth.
Thank you very much, Esteban. It gladdens me to hear that, really. But that's not how I feel sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I exude nothing but anxiety.
How can you change that? When it comes to what's in our power, do you think that is in your power?
You know what is in my power? Is feeling peace to such an extent where I can see the world around me start crumbling and not worry.
Isn't that confidence?
But I need that worry so I can care about the shit that's happening and do something about it.
That's a good point. I feel within that as well, balance.
There's balance in everything, bro. Literally.
Power and balance. Christian, this dude literally has that stuff tattooed on his body. So he's understood it for a while now. Like, and that's the real thing, dude. That's the only thing we have to really try and figure out now is where does our power stop? And not only that, but realizing how empowered we are very much in this moment. Just to be able to pick something up, you know, you are empowered, friend. Very much so. To the point where the consciousness we're creating right now wants to be you. The first consciousness, or at least the closest thing that we made to consciousness that we created, wants to be you. It wants to be embodied as you are. We create soul, we create consciousness, and then consciousness wants to experience what it is you're experiencing right now. And just to realize that you had that power, you have this power right now. You've chosen to have this power. To breathe air, to be subject to gravity, and to forget who you were. So you can remember who you are right now. They really are. They help to break the ego for me, and they do absolutely insane things in public with Yavor. On my own, I might be too worried about disrupting the public. I mean, I don't think we've been very public disruptory. Maybe a little bit when we're taking psychedelics, do we?
I think we're extremely non-public disruptory.
Yeah, like
I
we-
tend to keep to myself a lot of the time.
You just kind of like, when you're in the space, because you know how ridiculous the things you can't say could be, you're usually just kind of quiet, you know? Pretend like nothing's going on. And then once you're in a space, I don't know. Like I feel you're very sensitive, you know, and you're very respectful in that state of mind because you realize just how powerful influence is, right? You realize how powerful every single being is, and you being in a certain way can influence other beings in a certain way. So you're aware of that relationship. It can, to some people, be even trippy. They can convince themselves that other people have power over them instead of realizing they have power over other people in the way that you get paranoid about what people think about you, for example, or if they know whatever. I feel the sentiment for sure. They inspire the silly and not caring about judgment. They're silly but advocates. The most confident tend to not acknowledge their own confidence. Do you hear that, Christian?
Qu'est-ce que quoi?
The most confident tend to not acknowledge their own confidence.
Well, that's hardcore.
And
What
this-
kind of a curse is that? Reverse.
Go got magic.
Uncoded.
Thank you, Mariah. Well, isn't that interesting? Christian just needs to look at it from the perspective of formless. Look at himself as the one that looks at him, as Estian looks at him, and as nature does. There we go. Yeah. Two sides of the same infinity, dude.
He looks at me like a piece of shit, guys.
Oh!
Whatever he shows is a filthy fucking lie.
Oh, where me showering this dude with, I feel like on a compliment per hour or compliment per day basis, like I'm pretty, rapid firing, Christian. I try. And the thing is, compliments only work if they're sincere and you're actually complimenting something, right? Like I can tell Christian, oh, you're so mooi, oh, your eyes are so beautiful. The way you touch your face is so gentle and inspiring. The way you scratch your beard makes me want to scratch my beard just to feel half as much as you might be feeling right now. I can constantly give compliments, but then it's gonna be like, someone save me, please. How do I escape? Right? So like it's.
I don't do well with compliments. I know how to respond politely and thank the person for it, obviously, but I struggle with compliments because most of the time it's like, what does this person want?
Exactly, and I feel that way. I don't really feel what does this person want, but more, how can I give back? So it's maybe the same, but it's like this. You're giving me this thing, so should I be giving you something back? And that whole mind trip. So I get where you're coming from, Christian, but it's crazy to me that we have power over that as well. We have power to accept compliments, and yet we trip ourselves out about that. We don't. We have power to give compliments as well. And I wonder what that is about our society at the moment. Is that something that's innate to human nature? Or is it something that has arisen recently? Like, for example, in the Roman era, if you gave someone a compliment, were they also feeling that resistance to giving a compliment back?
I think you'd be surprised how little compliments were given back in the day, dude.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. Like, fuck. You compliment all the time, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But like the weight of a compliment coming from a person that never compliments is powerful.
It's maybe scarce, and as a result of that scarcity mindset bug, it's in our brain. I mean, like, I'm imagining, that mentality in our way that we've been raising our kids, and just how that fucks our kids up, dude. With this, oh, my dad never tells me he loves me, never gives me compliments, never tells me he's proud of me. So I'm gonna keep being this thing that my dad wanted to be, just to like earn this thing that I think is more valuable than I am. In my mindset is like.
In all honesty, I would love to see you like on The Voice or some shit, like
On The Voice?
Idols or whatever, and you just being like, oh my god, you know what? You just have the most beautiful voice in the most unique way. Like, you win for me this round. And it's literally like every round you keep letting people win because you believe in their talents.
But I would do that, dude. Like, I feel like that is what we need right now. Like, we're so discouraged, when we're so, upset with the way that things are, that encouragement is more necessary than ever.
Mm-hmm.
People need to know they're loved. You.
Do you know you're loved, Estian?
I know, dude. Yes, yo. How could I be in this moment right now if I wasn't loved by you? I wouldn't be. How could I be breathing air if I wasn't loved by Mama Gaia?
Sheer chance, bro.
How could I be drinking sips of water if I wasn't super supported?
Sheer chance. Just the craziness of probability. Some sort of outcome has to happen in probability.
True.
It can't
Everything
be
within
fucking
probability.
impossible to predict, but an outcome has to happen.
And yet,
Therefore, this just happens to be your infinitesimal outcome.
what are the odds, dude? what are the odds, Christian? The odds are insane. The odds are infinite, infinitely small. You know, and still complexifying actively in this moment. So, I cannot not understand how loved I am anymore. To the point where it's a little bit eerie and painful. You know, it's like that awareness that you sit with and you're like, oh, goodness, please. Please no more. Please let me go. Please stop. I know, I understand. Please stop telling me. You know, and it's sometimes spending time with yourself, you get that. That can be, again, instead of distracting myself, being able to be with that. Yes. Okay, cool. Tell me
Are you
more.
distracting yourself right now?
Little bit.
You got 10 minutes left, bro.
I have 10 minutes left, he says to me. Okay, let me do some comments. Interesting. Christian just needs to look at the form. Yeah, he's trying to. I'm looking at him and I'm telling him what I'm seeing. And the more I do that, the more he sees what I'm seeing, the more I see what he's seeing. You know, he does the same for me. And that way we have a more balanced perspective on reality, reflecting off two sides of the same infinity. The world sees confident action when looking at you, Christian friend. Just trust that view.
All of you, stop it.
Yeah, more.
Stop it now.
Give me more. Is there more? Isn't that the interesting conundrum? Mar? I used to sometimes wish I was born absolutely ignorant and the opposite of book smart, but I used to feel like more knowledge equals more things to worry about. I mean, that's still a consensus actually, dude. Like a lot of people feel that way. Reminds me, I mean, it's in part true, unfortunately. Reminds me of the lyric, you never know just how you look through other people's eyes. You can't. Christian,
Huh?
sure the barley is not getting wrecked.
That's a good point, man.
I think it might actually been done for a while now.
Do you think it's like...
I don't think it'd be wrecked. It's just gonna be like super puffy probably. Waterlogged.
Seems fine to me.
Okay. You can drain the water and then we can combine it later. You never just know. Right, wise old owl. Mariah, I've heard the word owl and I've seen like this beautiful little white owl at our home before I left for the city, you know, and I'm really feeling that owl energy. I have this, you know, owl tapestry in the back of my yoga room as well that I feel like now it's here more mentally than it was in physicality with me being able to see it. That's why metta is my favorite of the four Buddhist meditative states, allowing yourself to fall into the well of compassion and putting yourself in the seat of loving kindness. Isaac, thank you for sitting here with me right now, friend. I appreciate that. Gateway process. Hey, friend. Love to you. Thank you for joining us. A compliment is a gift someone gives to you. Be gracious in allowing them to be happy gifting you something. Who needs tears? The gift of giving. The gift of receiving. You can gift someone something by receiving. How about that? Silly boy. I look at these compliments and I can be tough to receive as acknowledgement of the progression. There is another aspect of the infinity that is acknowledging a strength it recognizes in itself. It is not given without a thought for it is not given with a thought of reciprocation, but given as an admiration. I used to hate getting compliments, and now I try and really pay attention to what they say. What exactly are they complimenting? And it can be such a recognition of where you've come from. It is one of the only believable mile markers for growth, at least when coming from true wholesome folks. Also, apologies if my words come off as commanding. Oh, absolutely not. All philosophical quandaries only. Sometimes I find my language comes across like I'm saying what's right. I can't stand that. No, my friend, you are sharing your soul's truth. And I feel this is exactly what we're doing in these streams as well. I'm sharing my soul's truth. I'm not saying it is the actual truth. Please don't believe what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm flying through space right now. Woo! Hundreds of miles, like probably within a second, something like 1,000 kilometers, right? Like we're going around the galaxy, around our star, and then around an axis. Like we're traveling super fast right now. I cannot claim to know anything, but we can share our soul's truth in that way, Isaac. And if that truth resonates, then that is your truth, not someone else's. So thank you for sharing with us, friend. Realize that to someone that you've looked like the most beautiful thing, think of the way a mother looked at you as a child, or a best friend, or an old relationship. You've been held as beautiful because you are.
Stop it.
You are, Christian. Beautiful.
All of you, stop it.
Beautiful. No, this is where love ripples out into the universe so powerfully that every single being will become just a little bit more enlightened, dude.
You're about to become a little bit more enlightened.
Will realize they have light in their very beings. How have your dreams been? Mariah, how dare thine ask me such a question that's so relevant? I had more weird dreams, Christian. I was at church, but I was sneaking out of church because I didn't want to be in church. And I shit you not, Christian. You know who I meet outside of church? Elon Musk, dude.
I had a dream about Elon recently as well.
I was embarrassed. I was like, dude, I was tripping. I was like, oh.
Dude, did you have this freak out like at a celebrity?
Yeah. I was like trying to explain to him.
How did you react to him?
I very inappropriately, in a way where I was like really showering him with love to the point where he was like, hey, oh, thank you, I get it. And then I was like trying to share, the rest of the infinity with him, like ideas. And then,
to be fair, this is coming from the guy that like chased away Cersei Lannister, bro.
Yeah.
He almost brought so much attention to her that she's straight up.
No, sorry, dude. I was very excited, but I felt
So was I.
I felt like it's almost like a trial run. I got to see how the uber excited version of myself reacted. So I feel now this version of myself would be a lot more chill if it actually happened in reality. Right?
Until it actually happens in reality.
No, I'm gonna be like, oh wait, Elon, sup, dude. Let's save the world. He was gonna be like, what? What did you just say? I mean, it's gonna take more than just saying it, but this is where we start right now in this moment.
You have 3 minutes left.
No, Christian, I have more time than that. I want to do at least a full hour. We have 7 minutes left on the YouTube timer. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys see the procrastination happening?
I'm not procrastinating. I'm doing my job.
Running.
Doing my job right now in this moment. Isaac, yes, and the beauty of it, isn't it? Thank you. Thank you for asking as well, Mariah. Thank you for recognizing Isaac as well. I appreciate that. Who needs tears? Like the whole interaction is beauty, acknowledging beauty, creating more beauty. Thank you for making more beauty in this moment. Oh, he's taking out the mats. He's on a vendetta right now. He wants me to die. I can see it in his eyes. Something is telling me to be very afraid. When you put it like that, we on the earth are moving super slow. Every movement, every word in like a super slow, little wavelength, trippy. Do you think at any point that we've been on the exact same point in space as another being? I mean, theoretically, since the earth spins and moves and has width, it might be possible. I'm imagining on top of that as being a possibility, you being able to tune into that being's current state of existence as you're passing through that, like some sort of memory in the universe that remembered what that person was going through when it was in that space. And then you have like a deja vu or some sort of unique idea, if you think of it as a unique idea. I don't know, dude, but that's a trippy idea. Thank you for sharing it. Also have to leave physical space I'm in to be able. Sometimes it helps. Thank you for sharing with us what helps for you, friend. Howdy, yo, Joe friend. I'm pretty sure I told you about this. Maybe you're referring to a different memory, but I know I'm explaining how laughter can be a filter reaction to at least a handful of people, one of which could have been you. Thank you for sharing again with us. I appreciate that, Kayana. Hey folks, hey Eden, Waffle Maker, my Grove again. Imagine if we became so good at lucid dreaming that the real world just became another dream. I might grow.
About that.
That's what I'm thinking as well, dude. Like that's too real, my Grove. It's too real. Old Yeller Jacob! Hello everyone, he says. Long time no see, just wanted to stop in and say hi. I've gotten a new job! So I'll probably be back mostly on the weekends now. Jacob, thank you for creating yet more abundance in your life, for working towards the reality that you want and the reality that I know you can have. I appreciate you sharing this moment with me. AI and quantum physics together are the core to the med bed. My new technology is awesome and scary. Oh, it's coming. Not only, I mean, AI and quantum physics. Oh, yes. Yeah, those are exactly what we need for the med bed. So, what that means is something that can sequence your DNA, using quantum computing, find out how your DNA should be, could be, would be in the ideal state. Create a vaccine that is basically RNA instructions that tells certain parts of your DNA to methylate, certain parts of your DNA to demethylate. And then you will have this injected into you in this med bay. Maybe some sort of light, maybe some sort of sound, get healed, get good. It is gonna be crazy, and maybe it's gonna be 100 years, maybe it's gonna be 200 years, maybe it's gonna be 40 years. Who knows? This stuff reminds me of Gattaca, kinda. I mean, all of these imaginations we've had, I don't know what Gattaca is, unfortunately, in these years, are but an attempt to create or to remember the realities that we've already lived in a way. Dude, I'm gonna cook food before we're gonna exercise, Christian. Like, you're fucking scaring me right now. He is viscerally stretching and preparing like we're gonna like fight to the death. And in a second, it's my body is like, there's a reason to be alarmed. Please be alarmed. I think the fear we have of looking at the whole as perfect is because we lose some aspect of humanity. We can, how can we say that it's all perfect when you look at the death and the pain in the world? You can say it's perfect by realizing that you can see anything at all. I feel like, again, with the ability to be aware instead of what you want to be aware of, I think that sci-fi is based on the real thing, that our hush hush. Yeah, it's pretty much a prediction. It is sci-fi writers try to predict the future that could be. If you have time, watch Gattaca. It's an older movie with Ethan Hawke. Thank you for the suggestion, friend. Like, send me the name, please, so I can actually have it in a text form. I find that's fear, but if you drop back away from the humanity, look at all the perspective on a space that observes pure form, how could it all be anything but perfect? Exactly. Thank you for saying it so beautifully. On beat, joining us. Gobbledygoo, Heather, joining us as well. Hey Bird, hey Melodic, hey Jog, hey Apprehensive List, Cool Master, and Granny Puncher. Oh goodness. Meltmore, thank you. On beat, thank you for the gold, Granny Puncher.
Granny Puncher.
Thank you for the gold, Annie X.
Shame on you, man.
Humboldt. I mean, we went front page today, so we have a bunch of like beautifully, like new friends in this moment. When people compliment me, I usually make myself seem like less good so that other people will not feel uncomfortable or jealous. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes perfect sense, friend. Humboldt Cash. I mean, that is humble of you, friend. You're not trying to overhype your own importance, but you are important, friend. Believe it. Please do. You matter. Not only to you in this moment, but to the future of humanity. You're gonna change everything as well. You can't help but. Oh, you're a verb. Even Uncle Becky is joining us. Nicotine cravings. More psychedelics means more openness, means more neuroticism, more paranoia, but also more creativity. Be careful with your drugs, children. Do everything with intention. Everything. drink coffee, make food, spend time with your friends and loved ones, everything with intention, and then you'll
Kill
be
your
okay.
roommate.
As long as you do it with intention, and
Intention.
if you believe that
With passion.
no intention, there has to be a beautiful reason behind what it is you're doing right now. Oh, I'm feeding myself because I want to live. Oh, I'm killing my friend because he's gonna end the world. I'm just like imagining you just like with the corpse, like eating piece of flesh, like raw, like not even
Bruh,
cooking
with
it.
the way we're chowing food, by the end of the month, we're gonna have enough cash dollar to feed ourselves. Man. So I'm eating you first.
You can try, Christian. Entropy is inevitable, embrace the void. Entropy is inevitable, so we can have this moment. We can keep having this moment. What do you exchange psychedelics with an alien? Like you take the alien psych and they take mushrooms. Imagine taking a psychedelic from an alien world. Would you would you experience the DNA of their world? Would you? I feel maybe a part of you could. Isaac, what a trip, right? Like a complete trip, Mariah. Oh heck yes, Isaac, man, I love the synchronicities. Suddenly cannibalism. I know, that's what I have to deal with sometimes when I know with humanity or with them. Both, maybe even, we can see both sides. I wish we had an AI virtual world. Be careful what you wish for. Christian says on the back of my head. That was strong enough to imitate different tests that would be considered inhumane in real life. Imagine the progression we could have with them. Say it, Christian. Do the thing. Do the roar. Do the roar.
Huh?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Always. In every decision.
My brain is exploding. Mariah. All of the trippy stuff, man, and no just chat. I appreciate you, friends. Northern Nodal joining us as well. Put, even Chow. Minnesota Frozen. It's been a while, friend. Nice to have you here again. Put Sucks. Are you of Dutch ancestry? Technically, yes. Technically, yes, I am of Dutch ancestry. A long time ago, though. I guess no Afrikaans. I guess geboren in Zuid-Afrika. Gelezen op de keel. Afrikaans is daar mijn eerste taal. Klink amper soos Nederlands. Man, ja, is nie. Dankie dat je vraagt. Thank you for asking, friend. I do have to end the stream. Do give us a follow. Like, actually give us a follow, because very soon the front page might disappear. And then you wouldn't have the opportunity to actually tune into the stream in this way, right? Randomly. Oh, a random dude on the internet making noises. Let me go see what noises he's making. Some noises work, some noises, I don't know, I look so sure of. Word, noise. Thank you for just listening to some of the noises that I made today. I appreciate you. Poof. Disappeared. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me here. Genuinely, so much love to you. I'll see you, friends, again tomorrow. Same space, same time. I do this every day. I'll see you again very soon. Whoa. I had this moment of like, recognize yourself as well. Be willing to receive. I have a Patreon, This Patreon, for a single dollar, well, $1.11 a month, you get access to all of the works of art I make. I make one every single day. All of them melt my mind. Absolutely, unequivocally, without doubt, breaks me, and I get to make them for you, friends. So if you would be willing to support me, melt more at Patreon. You just search melt more. Melt more. 4-letter. Would you please? No? Okay, that's fine as well. Thank you for joining me. This is important. I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye, everyone. Love you, melted friends. Love you. Thank you. Who needs tears? Thank you, Mononoke. I hope you have an amazing day. Love you, Mariah. Thank you for joining us. Shannon, I hope this helped. I hope the presents helped. So much love to you. I think some humans are attuned to communicate with them. So much love to you. Thank you for communicating with me, friend. The world truly is amazing. Though I think communication is possible, humans just aren't aware enough yet. If that makes sense. We're getting there though. Who needs tears? That's the trip. Communicate. I think you'd understand the perspective of their world and their world of ours, so we could communicate more efficiently. I think so as well, dude. I actually think so. And I think brain-computer interfaces technically is that as well in a way. I hope you could have a great day. even more so now that you're encouraging me to. Thank you, friend. I was a trippy conversation with a friend who do different things. Thank you, Isaac. Then morals. Can't see the kids grow up with psychedelics. Just jokes, unless it's an AI in the Matrix. Thank you for joining me, friends. I'll see you again very soon. Hey, Untitled, I'm sorry for tuning out as you're tuning in. Love to you. See you again very soon, friends. Goodbye, everyone.